All right, you know what we haven't had in a presidential election in a long time? A real landslide. I mean, yeah, we've had some elections that were lopsided. Barack Obama won by 7 points in 2008 against John McCain. That was a solid, lopsided win for Barack Obama. But McCain still won 22 states in that race. What I'm talking about when I say a landslide is something bigger than what we saw in 2008. I'm talking about a real, thorough, honest-to-goodness beatdown. That's something we used to see all the time, actually. Richard Nixon carrying 49 states and more than 60% of the vote back in 1972. Ronald Reagan taking 44 states in 1980, 49 in 1984, winning by nearly 20 points. That was a big, massive blowout. Even George Bush Sr. burying Michael Dukakis and taking 40 states in 1988. That was 4 presidential elections right there, 4 out of 5 from 1972 to 1988, where the winning candidate took at least 40 states and 400 electoral votes. Those were landslides. But since then, well, we haven't had any on that scale. And supposedly, it's just not possible anymore. The country is more polarized now. There's red America, there's blue America, there's almost nothing in between. Only a handful of states are really up for grabs in any given election. That is what we've become used to. But, and I don't want to oversell this here, but at least right now, in this moment, we're seeing an interesting possibility in this presidential race. Our new NBC News SurveyMonkey poll is out today. It puts Hillary Clinton up by 10 points over Donald Trump. And this is not the first poll since the conventions to give Clinton a double-digit lead. This is actually the fourth. 4 polls that have Clinton up by more than 10 points, or at least 10 points. Her lead is reaching levels we just didn't see in the past few campaigns. Now, maybe this is just a temporary thing. Maybe Trump is going to recover, and a month from now, we're going to be talking about a razor-thin race all over again. Totally possible. But there's another possibility. What if we're seeing something else, something deeper, a more permanent separation between Clinton and Trump? Could we be seeing our first true landslide in a long time, a double-digit landslide? That is Clinton's lead in 4 polls now. And the last time an election ended with a candidate winning by double digits, well, you got to go all the way back to this.
We're watching a really phenomenal development tonight as Ronald Reagan continues to roll through the country. So far, Walter Fritz Mondale has won only the District of Columbia. All those states that you see behind me that are colored blue are the states that we have projected Ronald Reagan the winner in tonight. Here's the Electoral College vote as we have it right now. 405 votes for Ronald Reagan. He has exceeded the Electoral College total that his pollster Dick Wirthlin said that he would get, 400. Fritz Mondale with only 3. So that makes it an Electoral College landslide alone. And here's what's going on with the national vote. 27% of the precincts have reported in so far. The Reagan margin now has dropped a wee bit. It's down from 22 points down to 18 points. It's still in the landslide proportions.
It's dropped from 22 points all the way down to 18 points. That's what counts for suspense when you're talking about a landslide. So that was 84. Reagan won 49 states. Look, nobody's talking about this one being a 49-state landslide, but some very interesting things are happening with this electoral map. Again, at least right now, I want to take you through them. So what you have here, these are basically how the states voted in 2012, but we've taken 5 of them and we've made them gray. What are these 5 gray states? These are basically Rust Belt states. These are industrial Midwest states that Donald Trump thinks he can flip. They were blue states in 2012. If you look at Trump's strategy, if you look at the blue-collar voters he's going after, these are the kinds of states he thinks he can flip and get to 270. So the first question is, how is he doing in these states that are the most promising for him to flip, at least in his strategy? So let's take a look. First of all, we have a poll out of Pennsylvania. This is a brand new poll. This came out a couple hours ago. NBC News, Marist. Well, look at this. A double-digit lead for Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania. Hardly the first double-digit lead for Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania. This is the 3rd one we've seen in a week for her. So Donald Trump, Pennsylvania is a big target, but all the evidence we have right now says Pennsylvania is still favored to be a Democratic state. What about Ohio? We have a brand new poll out of Ohio. Donald Trump doing a little better here, but he is still down in Ohio, a 5-point gap. So again, right now, Donald Trump targeting Ohio just like he's targeting Pennsylvania, but he's not there right now. Clinton's still leading in Ohio. Another one, brand new NBC Marist poll out of Iowa today. Again, a little bit closer, but a 4-point lead for Hillary Clinton. This is supposed to be a ripe target for Donald Trump. He had his convention. He's had chances here. He was out there for the caucuses earlier this year. He is still trailing in this poll in Iowa. Closer, he could turn it around, but again, for right now, is Donald Trump ahead in Iowa? Not in this poll. We don't have new polls today, but Wisconsin, Michigan, these are other states Donald Trump has talked about flipping with the Rust Belt strategy. We have not seen a poll that puts him ahead in these states. So again, the burden is still on Donald Trump to show that he can do something Mitt Romney and a whole bunch of other Republicans over the last generation or so couldn't do, and that is actually win these states. That's the first thing that's going wrong for Trump. The bigger problem is this, though. These are the blue states he thinks he can flip. How about the red states he needs to hold? How about the states Romney won in 2012 that Trump maybe is just assuming he's going to hold? Well, check this out. Brand new numbers out of North Carolina. North Carolina was a Mitt Romney state in 2012. Well, right now in this poll, Hillary Clinton has the lead. Very close. Certainly Donald Trump could still win it. I'd call it a toss-up state, but we have seen polls putting Hillary Clinton ahead there. It is possible Hillary Clinton could end up flipping North Carolina, making it a blue state. Trump's problem, though, gets a lot worse than North Carolina. Look at this. Georgia, new poll, 7-point lead here for Hillary Clinton. Not the first poll that we've seen putting her ahead in Georgia. This is a state that last went Democratic back in 1992. Again, Donald Trump could still take Georgia, but Hillary Clinton certainly has a chance to flip Georgia. All this talk about Trump turning blue states red, we could see the opposite happening with Hillary Clinton having a double-digit lead nationally. But it's not just North Carolina. It's not just Georgia. Look at this. This came out just about 2 hours ago. Kansas, one of the most Republican states in the country. The margin here was more than 20 points for Mitt Romney in 2012. Donald Trump leading by just 5 points in Kansas. Remember, there's a lot of big suburbs right outside of Kansas City on the Kansas side. You got suburban, moderate, professional, college degree Republicans there. That's the type of Republican Trump has been struggling with. And when Trump is struggling with that type of Republican, you're going to see this type of result. He could be vulnerable in a state like Kansas. It's still a real stretch to say Hillary Clinton's going to win it, but there is the possibility there that Donald Trump is going to have to fight for it. So, again, you would take that and say, not a sure thing for Trump, just like we've seen polls that say Utah is not a sure thing for Trump, just like we've seen polls that say Arizona, not a sure thing for Trump. In fact, there have been polls putting Hillary Clinton ahead there. When you get to a 10-point race nationally, which you have 4 polls in the last week saying Donald Trump could have to worry about Indiana. He could have to worry about Missouri if this holds up. And it's a big if. Again, Donald Trump could close the gap, could be a different story in a month. But if Hillary Clinton could sustain the kind of lead she has leaped out into this race, you could see other states that suddenly get crazy. States you wouldn't have even imagined, like a South Carolina, even a Texas. They could at least become competitive. And what it would mean doesn't mean Hillary Clinton's going to win all of these. It means we could have more competitive states than we ever imagined. That's the way the lay of the land right now at this low moment for Donald Trump. We'll be back right after this.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.